I am watching the game with a very, very special friend. Very special to my heart. I've known him for a good while, since 2000. I want to say since 2013.
Sounds about right. Or before then.
Introduce yourself, my friend.
Hey, what's up? My name is Todd Huffler. Oscar also calls me white supremacist Todd. It's a joke.
The most supreme of the whites. The supremacist of the best. Yes, Todd. Okay, the original name I've given you was Todd the God Hoffler. That was the original name back in the game, guys. But has been thrown around. White supremacist. The God. Today I called him a homeless man because he came over. I gave him some candy for Halloween.
Yeah, he did.
But there's a reason why he's here. Some of you guys may have known, or may have not known, that time that the podcast was with Henry, and whenever that happened, my car broke down. Oh, hey, don't do that. It'll show up on the mic. I'm already scolding you. What happened was that my car broke down when I was checking up on some test results, and I was stuck in Henry's neighborhood. So we were able to, I'm waiting on Tony to get home to help me get a boost, and so we're like, well, let's go and kill the time. We did a 2.5-hour podcast, which I uploaded part 1 as of yesterday. Part 2 will be up shortly. But the point was that I didn't tell you guys what happened afterwards, okay? Tony showed up, which is AKA Naughty Monkey. He took me to an auto shop to make sure check my battery was fine. The battery had full charge. The battery was okay. And then we did like a series of process of elimination that the starter was the issue. Now, this happened around late at night, so even if I started working on the car, there was not going to be any place for me to get it fixed. So I was going to fix it the next morning. So, granted, that was the first day it started getting cold in a while. Alright? I was in shorts and a t-shirt and a cowboy hat. Don't ask why I was in a cowboy hat.
And Henry wasn't going to allow him to stay.
Yeah, he wasn't going to let me stay. He was going to kick me out of the house. He says like the last friend he had over and something bad happened. Okay? But anyway, the point was this. The Naughty Monkey showed up, took me to where his neighborhood was so they could pick up Liz and his daughter and another friend. And then at that moment I called my friend Todd if he would do me a solid to take me home. And he said no. He said no. Dang wet back. I don't want you here. No. He said yes. He said without any hesitation. And after we were there for a good while at U of H, I had a nice little win streak there against some players. You had a good run with some players too, from what I understand, right?
I think it was just one player. It was the guy that actually challenged you and only went 4 games against you before he quit.
That was Gladiator.
It was Gladiator. Actually was able to take a couple matches from him as Ibuki, believe it or not, against his ROG.
Now, why were you using Ibuki? Because apparently something had happened that you weren't able to use your other mains.
Because Gladiator didn't even purchase Abigail or Manat yet. So I haven't used Ibuki in probably almost a year, actually. Because I went on to Colleen after, and then eventually to Abigail and Manat. Basically I didn't use Ibuki for a whole year.
Because what is interesting is that you've been jumping around from character to character to find the right fit. And right now, Ibuki seems to be a good fit for you at the moment. At the moment. And you were able to make some noise. I was there as well. I also defeated Gladiator. And I think that was the first in real life rage quit. Did you see what he did?
I did not. I missed it. I don't know where I was.
Okay.
I think
he cussed me out after I won. And Naughty Monkey laughed. You remember Juices, right?
Yeah.
Juices, he laughed too.
Mm-hmm.
But that was pretty funny. But after that was done, Todd took me home, and then the next day I proceeded to get my vehicle fixed, brought it over to the mechanic. It didn't take that long for them to get fixed. It took a good 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. That's not bad, really.
So everything was done. And it was the starter. But I invited my friend Todd. We were originally supposed to meet at Minute Maid Park. But from what we understand, there's a lot of places that are doing like the parking, and they're charging a whole buttload of money just for people to park. And to be honest with you, that's way too much money for us to be spending.
Exactly.
I told Todd, look, man, I want to do you a solid. Come over to the house. I'll get pizza. We'll watch the game together. So this is the first time I had somebody watch a baseball game with me other than my wife. So you earned that distinction.
Thank you.
But at the same time, you watch baseball.
Yes.
You watch football as well.
I watch baseball. I watch football. I love both sports. I even watch NASCAR as well. Those are pretty much...
Oh, you really are white.
Yeah, those are pretty much my top 3 favorite sports I watch.
Okay, so I gotta ask you this. A lot of people do not know where you're from. People think you're from Texas because the way that you look. And it was a shock to me much later because I learned earlier on where you were from, of course, because of school. But where are you exactly from?
I am from... I was originally born in the Finger Lakes region of New York, in a city called Geneva. A year after I was born, my family moved to a little town called Wilson, which is about 20 minutes outside Niagara Falls. We moved there for my dad's job at the time. So that's where I grew up. Baseball wise, my mom is a big Yankees fan. So
she must have felt crushed.
Yeah, she was. She felt a little crushed and a little upset, but...
You know what? I think on purpose she told you parking was $100.
It's possible. It's possible knowing my mother. But yeah, she was a little crushed. She was a little disappointed with some of the decisions that were made, but for the most part, she was like me. She was actually proud of the Yankees because at the beginning of the season, nobody had the Yankees going to the playoffs. Not even close to even winning the division. They called it the rebuilding year, and they had them finishing in 4th place in the American League East. So for them to step up the way they did, all the young players, Aaron Judge especially, was fantastic this year, except for that little stretch he had after the All-Star break. But to be able to make the playoffs, we beat the Twins. Everybody thought we were going to beat the Twins because we pretty much always beat the Twins at home. Then to hear everybody say, "Oh, the Indians are going to sweep y'all in 3, going to sweep the Yankees in 3," but look what we did.
Yeah, I ended up taking them out.
The Indians took the first 2 games. We came back and swept the last 3 games. So, then came the Astros, and we heard that the Astros were going to beat us. Some people thought they were going to sweep us.
Now, I will say, okay, that was unfair to you and your team, because the people telling you that we were going to sweep the Yankees were people that hardly ever watch baseball. I was one of them.
Yes.
I was one of them.
He was one of them, guys. He was one of them. But we took this Astros team to 7. And I will admit, this Astros team this year was a very, very good team. They were beating their opponents at one point in the division by over 20 games. I think the max was like maybe 21, 22 games. I mean, it's kind of insane. Same thing with the Dodgers. The Dodgers were way out there, too, in their division. But I think the Astros were a little bit more ahead of their teams than the Dodgers were, which was amazing. You hardly ever see anything like that. I mean, the way their offense is set up, the pitching and everything. I usually don't talk real great about Houston teams. I'll admit it. But
yeah, you hate on our Texas pretty hard, too.
But... yes, I do hate on the Texans, but we'll save that for another podcast.
We'll save that for the football.
We'll save that for the football. But the lineup: Springer, Bregman, Correa, Altuve, everybody, all the way through this lineup for the Astros, they are excellent hitters. They did. We saw Gurriel is excellent. McCann, former Yankee. We had McCann for 3 years in New York.
And Reddick.
Gonzalez, Reddick, and Verlander. when Verlander was with the Tigers, the Yankees actually had success hitting off him and beating him during the regular season. But it's like he's been rejuvenated when he came to this Astros team, and he's pitched excellent. It's just the bullpen.
Yeah. So I gotta say, so I gotta ask this question: how did you end up in Texas? That's what I want to know.
It was actually, again,
did you get lost? Or?
Yeah, we got lost and we came to this little hick town. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Houstonians. I'm kidding. We actually came down here because of my dad's job again.
All right, sorry, let me cut you off. The game just started and we had the first pitch and it's ball one, George Springer. So we're gonna keep talking over this while as the game is going on. So you might see a scream or yell profanities during the game.
You'll hear like "Go Astros." You'll hear "Go Dodgers" from me because
Oh, you really? Really?
Yes, really.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Wait, you're rooting for the Dodgers?
Yes, I'm rooting for the Dodgers.
Why? Dude, look, you're rooting for the Dodgers. You're rooting for the Dodgers for real?
Yes, I'm rooting for the Dodgers for real.
Alright, get the hell out of my house. Give me my pizza back. Get out of here. Oh, bro, you're rooting for the Dodgers?
I'm rooting for the Dodgers.
I invited a rival to my own house.
Here's the thing, and I'm going to sum this up for every baseball fan to why I am rooting for the Dodgers. Okay, so imagine that instead of this year's ALCS being between the Astros and the Yankees, since I'm going to put this in perspective for Houstonians, say it was between the Astros and the Texas Rangers. Texas Rangers are your big rival here in Texas.
But did they do well? I heard that they did crappy.
They did crappy, but this is kind of a scenario I'm putting out to all Houstonians here. So say the Rangers beat the Astros. And but Dodgers still make the World Series. The Dodgers are going to play against the Rangers. Who are you going to root for?
My home team.
You're still going to root for the Texas Rangers, even though they beat your Houston Astros in the ALCS.
Well, that's what I'm saying. My home team, like the Astros.
But
I'm a fan. Look, the difference is that I understand if you look at it through numbers.
But no, I'm looking at it through.
Okay, we're already on first base.
I'm looking at it through rival team. Either the Astros get beat by the Rangers, or the Red Sox, the White Sox, the Angels, whoever they would have met in the ALCS besides the Yankees, or even say if the Yankees have beaten the Astros this year in the ALCS.
Now,
who are you rooting for?
If the Yankees would have beaten the Astros, I'll tell you the truth, I would not care at that point. No, I'm gonna be honest. I would say I would go for the Yankees. Reason being, because I'm the kind of person who's like, if this team were to beat my team, I want that team to win due to the fact that you deny our entry to go for any further, you guys better win.
But here's the thing, though. Most people are not like you.
I know, but that for me.
But for everybody else, they're gonna be like, damn Yankees, they ruined our chances going to the World Series this year. I hope they get their butts whipped by the Dodgers. That's what everybody else is going to think. That
is the majority of the like of what the consensus would think. I would say that, but it's for me, if Houston would have been and it's happened before, like we have been taken out. We were taken out of the World Series in a sweep.
Yeah,
and I'm like, well, crap, we got taken out, but. We went there swinging, but unfortunately it didn't work out. We'll make it next year. Nope, we didn't do that. That didn't happen next year. It got to the point to where the team almost was disbanded. Almost.
Pretty close.
We were pretty close to being disbanded, and then slowly but surely we kept getting some new prospects. Still, for example, Altuve. Last year, he couldn't even get the ball over the fence.
And look what he did this year.
And now he's clearing it, and he's actually hitting it a lot further than he has before. But And it comes in a weird sense because back then, the players that were deemed like the baddest players there, they were doing work and they were not with the Astros. They had to be built from scratch.
Yeah.
And because of being built from scratch, you see the results on how we were doing. Now, when we were facing the Yankees, I will say that I was surprised to see how well we were doing against them.
Yeah,
because
y'all did great.
Because like you were saying before, the Yankees, they've been like doing a lot of
rebuilding,
in the middle of the season, no less.
Yeah,
and it could have turned out a lot worse. And it kind of seemed like y'all weren't even supposed to make it that far.
As I said, yeah,
and they almost took out the Astros.
Yeah,
it took 7 games. It took 7 games just to do it. And it was not easy.
No, it was not. I mean, you guys, the Astros, both teams didn't make it easy on each other at all.
Because there were some key plays that happened, like key catches, key hits from both ends.
That catch game, was it game 6? I think it was by
Springer.
Out
by the wall.
By the wall.
Yes.
Oh my lord!
Yeah.
I mean
that could have been horribly for us.
It could have, yeah. Because I mean, he could have missed that ball, and the Yankees get 2 runs in.
Yeah. Now you can't sleep at night, huh?
No. As I said, I'm very proud of my Yankees that they made it all the way to the ALCS when nobody else thought they would. I mean, as I've actually made a little thing, everybody loves the Yankees. You either love them or you love to hate them.
yeah, somewhere for me. Yeah, I get that. It's more interesting that I actually get to think that, like, my wife and I were talking about, because we've also been to Astros games before, and we were talking to one another, and we're like, what would happen if we were to go to an Astros game during the postseason? I'm like, it'd be pretty crazy, but then at the same time, it's like, there's no reason for us to go. At the time.
Yeah.
Now that this is happening, like, it makes me want to be like, I do want to go to an Astros game. I do want to go more because, don't get me wrong, I've been to one Astros game. And it's a quick little story, okay? We have an uncle in Mexico from Matamoros. He was here visiting us, and my uncles, from my mom's side, her brothers, of course, they were the ones that they said we want to do something special with my uncle because he loves baseball, believe it or not. Where he lives at, there's a little park across there, and he watches the Little League because he loves the sport. But he has never been to an actual baseball game. So what my uncles did was all the guys, the uncles, my dad, my brother, and my cousin. I think my brother went. I think he went. We all went to go watch the game, and we were playing against the Orioles. And it was a memorable game because it was one of the few times that we scored home runs. The umpire got hit by the ball in the face. He was bleeding. Yeah.
Oh.
The very first pitch, no less. And it was the first time that I got to see the train move after a home run, fireworks. And it was fun. And to make the top off the night, we went to Federal Road on the way back off of I-10, and there's a taco truck on the way back, and it was literally the best taco we've ever had, and I still go there to this day if I ever want tacos. One of these days I will take you there because
cool.
Because I know you enjoy tacos, but you never had good taco truck tacos.
Now here's something funny. My first ever Major League Baseball game I went to was actually an Astros game. It was actually an Astros game. Actually,
was it against the Yankees?
No, it was not against the Yankees.
Oh, man.
Unfortunately. It was actually against the Rockies. Girl that was that I first met when I came down here, her mom worked at Radio Shack.
Got rest her soul. I love Mama's Radio Shack.
Worked for Radio Shack. She was I think she was in one of the main offices, I believe, down here. and she got tickets to the Astros. So I think the first 2 games I saw were both against the Rockies. Ironically, we're both against the Rockies, which is kind of funny.
Did we win?
I think you won both games, I believe. Then the third game was against the Pirates.
So to this day, have you ever been to a game that has featured the Yankees?
Yes, me and my parents went up to Arlington to see the Yankees play the Rangers.
Oh, that's neat.
Unfortunately, the Rangers beat the Yankees, but
You should have came to Houston then.
it was a lot of fun watching the Yankees. As well. We had Jeter and A-Rod and all them.
Oh, so you went when it was the top players still in.
Oh yeah, some of our top players are still in, and it was great because we're sitting there. We're all in a section. A bunch of us Yankee fans were in the same section, which is funny. And we see Jeter up, and we started chanting, "Let's go Jeter!" Well, the Ranger fans around us were starting to chant, "Let's go Rangers!" But what it eventually became was, it started out with the Rangers fans saying, "Let's go," and then we, us Yankee fans, actually drowned them out with Jeter. Which
So they would chant.
Yeah,
And then
we were both.
They would say, "Let's go," and then y'all would chant Jeter.
We were both chanting at the same time, but their "Let's go" for when they saying "Let's go Rangers" drowned out our "Let's go." But when it came to Jeter, it's the volume switched, and we drowned them out.
It was funny.
Which is cool. Which was a lot of fun. I would love to go see Yankees play again. I've been wanting to actually see them play here in Houston.
We will definitely make that happen. I would want us to go to one of those games.
I've been to a couple other Astros games. My other good friend Tony, has taken me to a couple of games down here. I can't remember the first team we saw, but the second team we actually saw the Seattle Mariners.
Okay.
Play with Robinson Cano and all that. And my friend Tony's actually pretty cool. He's actually bought me for Christmas, a couple of mini Yankees batting helmets.
Oh, cool.
And one is signed by Reggie Jackson.
Oh.
And the other one is signed by Robinson Cano. I also have another friend that got me another autographed baseball, which was pretty cool. I have to look up
who it was.
I wish I remembered, because his brother actually used to play for the Astros.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
Let me...
2 strikeout. Okay, we got 1 strikeout, and we had 1 pop out. So, pop fly, I like to call it. We had 2 outs.
That is kind of actually the technical term on it.
Yeah.
Pop fly, fly out.
Oh. See, I could get it right.
He's learning.
Okay, so basically, a friend of yours is related to somebody that was in the Astros.
No, it's not related to anybody in the Astros, but the friend, it's I wish I could remember the pitcher's name off the top of my head, but she got actually won tickets to go up to the Baseball Hall of Fame. She actually won for a luncheon at the Baseball Hall of Fame up in Cooperstown.
In Texas, or?
No, the Baseball Hall of Fame is up in Cooperstown, New York.
Oh, in New York.
Yeah.
Okay, now we got 3 outs. Now it's our turn again. End of the first inning. So right now, the pitchers are doing what they're supposed to do.
Yes, exactly. Each pitcher's doing exactly what they're supposed to do, getting through this lineup, getting through their hitters as quickly as possible.
So basically what you're telling me is the connections you have. In some way or form, you have known someone that's actually either dined with baseball players.
One person I've known to dine with baseball players.
That's actually pretty cool.
It's just pretty cool.
Okay, do you have any... now, I've been to ask you this, since you tell me you're a big baseball fan. Do you enjoy that people give you gifts that are related to baseball?
Oh, definitely.
So if I give you a Houston Astros cap, will you wear it?
I may not wear it, technically. It may be more of... Like, if it's maybe more of Yankees related, then of course.
What if it's a Yankees versus Astros hat? There has to be something that someone made like that.
If
like,
it is
like a half logo. Have you ever seen that?
I've seen that. Yeah, I will. If it's got part Yankees on it, yeah, I would probably wear that if there is like a hat like that.
Because like what I do enjoy about our friendship is you come from a completely different foreign land from where I'm from.
Now I remember the pitcher's name. It was actually Phil Niekro.
Phil Niekro?
And he had a brother that pitched for the Astros.
Which is name? No. Name of the pitcher?
I'm trying to remember his name. Okay.
Okay. All right. We'll Todd is looking up the name of the pitcher, and we're gonna see if it's actually true. I'm gonna have the fans, all two of my listeners, check if it's true or not. And you're one of the listeners. But yeah, it's I have a very soft spot for baseball. I was playing t-ball. I never played in high school, for baseball. I was in basketball and track and football, but never baseball. But my wife's brother, the youngest brother, he's been playing baseball since he was like a kid, and he was actually pretty good. Currently, he's not playing. He's just going to school. But I believe that if he would have kept going, he would have made it pretty far in baseball.
And Phil Niekro's brother, as the Astros fans would probably know, after Oscar posts this on Facebook, is Joe Niekro.
Joe Niekro, okay. So he used to pitch for the Astros around what year or around what era, do you know?
I think it was
Go chill out.
the 80s, I think.
Yeah, I don't think current Astros fans would know that. You have to be a diehard to know that.
Yeah.
So what's the coolest gift they given you? Was it the helmets? Like Yankees helmets?
I would
baseball?
definitely have to say, actually, I kind of think all three are actually pretty much tied. It's the best baseball gifts I've ever gotten.
Okay, did the Yankees ever, because we watched the commercial just now, that they were giving the Astros like a bat that had, they won the LCS. You said that the Yankees won a division. Do they get anything like that, like a bat or something that they won that?
They get for as far as winning the division, I don't believe they get anything for it, but I'm not totally sure on that if teams get anything for winning the division.
Because it would be neat if they made like a pin, like at least a pin or a hat.
Because I know they got they'll get shirts. And, they do get shirts and hats, but nothing, as elaborate as, a trophy or a ring or anything like that.
Okay. Because that would have been neat if right now we saw the thing with the bat, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to get the bat, the ALCS. I want to get the Sports Illustrated package. Which I think is honestly going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, it will be pretty cool.
Because, don't get me wrong, a lot of people never got to see the Astros win the World Series, and we're alive at a time where possibly in the next few hours we could be World Series champions. There's a possibility, but I'm not trying to be like, we're gonna win tonight. No, because this is the first time me watching actual baseball, actually keeping up with everything as far as stat wise. This is the first time that I've noticed that these teams are very, very neck and neck and very similar. You cannot really say who would win what.
No, you can't. I mean, and both of these teams really actually were tops in their leagues, pretty basically. The Astros were basically the cream of the crop in the American League this year. Same thing with the Dodgers was in the National League. Which
is kind of amazing because it's you wouldn't really expect that. You wouldn't expect, and a lot of people say, on paper, you want to see the two best teams that make it to the end. But 9 times out of 10, you don't really see that happen. It's usually the best team that can survive the other team.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
To make it further. Both of these teams have broke 100 wins.
Yes, they did.
And they don't have any. I'm not saying there's no flaws, but there's small little details that they could be worked on. But at the same time, it's more of what are you supposed to do in a situation where you're so evenly matched?
You just basically when it comes to teams that are so evenly matched, like the Astros and the Yankees were pretty evenly matched during the ALCS, during this World Series. The Dodgers and the Astros are pretty evenly matched, believe it or not. It's just whoever
wants it more.
Whichever team can knock out the opposing starting pitcher as early as possible. But even sometimes that doesn't work because during the wild card game, the Twins got 3 runs off of Luis Severino, the Yankees' best pitcher, and he didn't even last the first inning. He was out. He was out. I think it lasted like a third of an inning, I believe it was. But the thing is, the bullpen stepped up and the offense stepped up big time and got us through that game, which was great. And we weren't expecting to win Game 1 of the ALDS because our bullpen was strapped. We weren't expecting to beat Bauer, to be honest with you.
So it was a nervous time.
It was a little bit of a nervous time, yes. Because I said, we're actually, I think during the postseason, we're actually undefeated against, I believe, like, as recently, we're undefeated against the Twins in Yankee Stadium.
Mm. Okay, so right now, middle of the second is going to be the bottom of the second. It's the Dodgers' turn to bat up. So basically, you're a fan of the Dodgers because the Astros beat the Yankees.
Basically, it's one of the reasons why I'm cheering for the Dodgers, and the other half is this is actually my mom's other favorite team.
Okay.
My mom is actually like the Dodgers since they were in, believe it or not, since they were in Brooklyn.
The Brooklyn Dodgers, okay.
They were the Brooklyn Dodgers.
I remember at one point, that was like a good while back though, wasn't it?
It was a long time ago. It was like back in the 50s. And the interesting fact how the Dodgers got their name, basically all their fans dodging traffic to get in the stadium.
Ha! That's funny.
At least that's what I've heard. So I don't know how much of that is true, but that's what I've heard.
Todd, you heard it first, guys. Todd's spreading a rumor.
Now,
at least you know the origins of the Dodgers. I still don't know what an Astro is. Like, I keep thinking it's like a...
It's something...
I know it's based off of the Astrodome, like the stadium. Mm-hmm. But Astro itself, like the definition of it, I don't know what the hell it is. I'm like, I don't care. Like, to me, I keep thinking it's like an atom or...
I believe it actually has more to do with...
Astronomy,
yeah. Space-related. Like, they could be the Houston astronomers. But they called them Astros. Then they changed their... Instead of calling them the big, long name like that, they just shortened it to Astros.
Todd spreading rumors again. Well, that's a good point because as of right now, I still don't know what an Astro is. All I know is that we're rooting for them.
The full name of the New York Mets is the New York Metropolitans.
Yes,
because of the metropolitan area they live in, but they shortened it up to the New York Mets.
I remember one team that's no longer active. The Expos.
The Expos are actually still active. They actually just moved from Montreal to Washington, and they are now playing as the Washington Nationals.
Okay, they were the Montreal Expos, and then they stopped. They were disbanded, and then they just moved it over to Washington.
Yes, they just moved not really disbanded the team, they just moved the team to Washington.
And is there any other team in Canada still?
Yes, there's only one other team.
The Maple Leafs, right?
No, Maple Leafs is hockey, my friend.
Okay.
It's the Toronto Blue Jays.
Okay, sorry. I'm telling you. I'm not...
He's learning, guys. He's learning.
I'm learning, but it's not like I watch... It's not... Here's the thing. I do watch baseball from time to time, but like on the regular season, it's like I want to look for key games. Like, I do watch highlights a lot. I'm more of a person that prefers to watch highlights than actually watching like a game. Because to me, it's more, you don't know what's going to happen. And highlights break it down to everything for you.
But yeah, he says he does look for key games. Like, Like, of course, the Astros key games are always the Astros Rangers, Astros Cardinals,
Yankees.
Astros Yankees now. Yankees, it's Red Sox Yankees, big one. Red Sox Yankees. Some people say that's the biggest rivalry in baseball history.
Dude, they've been fights.
Other people say it's actually the Dodgers and the Giants that are the biggest rivals in history. Because actually, the other fact is the Giants actually used to play in New York.
Yeah, so until they moved to San Francisco.
Okay.
So, how would you feel if you actually went to a Boston and New York game?
Ooh. I would actually...
Bring that here, buddy. You're making too much noise.
I may actually be like really excited to go see a Red Sox Yankees game, whether it's in New York or in Boston. Even though some of the Boston fans in Boston have been known to be kind of...
They're hardcore.
Not very friendly sometimes towards Yankee fans or any other baseball team, period.
I think the only way we could actually pass this, and you might actually have to do this, we'd have to wear Astros outfits, okay, going into Fenway. and you're like, oh, the Astros are not playing, okay. Then we take off our jerseys and we reveal their game. I would be a Yankees fan for one day to be at one of those games. I would definitely pay for that.
And there's the story between the Red Sox-Yankees rivalry is actually a pretty interesting one.
I know they've been going at it for years.
They actually made a play of it called Damn Yankees. And what happens is the Red Sox used to be co-owned by two guys. I'll have to look them up, but one of the guys that owned them was actually a guy that wrote plays for Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of his plays were unsuccessful. And what would happen is his half of the profits from the Red Sox games, he actually put into his plays.
Okay.
Which got the Red Sox very low money. And the two big players the Red Sox had at the time were Shoeless Joe Jackson and...
Which he wore shoes, by the way. He wore shoes.
Yeah, he wore shoes. And Babe Ruth.
Yeah, those are the big ones.
Those are the two biggest ones. And, first, he started out by selling Shoeless Joe to another team. I think it was the White Sox.
Yeah.
That actually bought him. And of course, then when that sell didn't exactly help, he sold Babe Ruth to the Yankees. And the most interesting thing about the thing that's claimed is that along with
trick or treat, it's a nurse. It's a nurse. Oh, you get some candy. Hang on.
Oscar's wife Myra just came in.
You're a little nurse. Here you go. Happy Halloween.
Thank you.
But anyway, the interesting thing is about the sale of Babe Ruth to the Yankees was the deed to Fenway Park. The deed to Fenway Park went with Babe Ruth as collateral.
Really?
Yes. And here's the thing. Back then, when baseball first started, if two teams shared a stadium, you could, and if one played a day game and one played a night game, you could actually buy a ticket to the day game and stay for the night game.
Back then. You can say hi. You can say hi to her. You say hi.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I did.
Shaking her hand.
I did say hi to Myra.
You win.
I said hi to. I said, oh, hey. Oscar's wife Myra's here. But anyway, back then, as I said, you bought a ticket to the day game. You could actually stay for free for the night game. And back then,
the day games were mostly what, Yankees?
It depended. It switched between
Yankees or the Red Sox.
No, actually, back then, the Yankees shared the Polo Grounds with the New York Giants.
Okay.
They're the guests of the New York Giants. And, either mostly it was the Yankees during the day and the Giants were mostly at night, but sometimes they switched it up. Mm-hmm. Well, what eventually started happening is that the Yankees started to become more and more popular.
More than their counterpart.
Than the Giants. So, what happened I believe in 1921, the owner of the New York Giants went to the owner of the New York Yankees. You need to get out. We're no longer sharing the stadium with you. You need to get out.
Todd knows a lot about baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, favorite sport?
Pretty much.
Yeah. If you listen to the podcast, you'll hear everything about it because Todd's not going to repeat everything he just said.
And,
yeah.
What eventually happened was because of Babe Ruth was probably the big reason why the Yankees became more popular than the Giants was because of Babe Ruth.
Right.
So,
back then Babe Ruth wasn't that popular, was he? Or was he? Or wasn't it until he made it to the Yankees he was super popular?
He was actually very popular with the Red Sox. Okay. He was very popular with the Red Sox. He's a man, he was actually a pitcher and a hitter.
Pitcher and a hitter.
Yeah,
okay.
He could pitch and hit. But eventually, with the Yankees, he became more popular with the Yankees. And that's probably one of the biggest reasons why they got kicked out of the Polo Grounds.
Right.
But fortunately for the Yankees, they actually had everything already set up for a stadium to open up in 1923. So the Giants let them stay in the Polo Grounds through the 1922 season. Mm-hmm. And then they eventually went to Yankee Stadium.
So they couldn't just kick him out right away. They had to at least finish out.
They at least had to find a place to play, which they actually kind of thought of moving the team again a third time to Boston to play in Fenway. Could have been the Boston Yankees, which could have been a little weird.
It would have been weird now, knowing what we know now.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or the Houston Rangers. Or the Texas Astros.
That would be weird. As you heard me mention, Yankees moving for the third time. Would have maybe moved the third time. Which you'll hear more about that later if Oscar wants to.
Just go.
Go. Oscar wants me to get into that.
Go, yeah. Like we're watching the game right now, but we're also talking too because it's actually pretty fun.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
Like I said, once they start scoring, we're gonna keep scoring. We're gonna keep updating you guys.
And the score.
Yeah.
So you don't have to listen to Joe Buck.
Yeah. Okay. Before you go any further with your story, I need to ask you. You have an issue with Joe Buck, the guy for Fox Sports, right?
Yes, Fox Sports. I have the biggest problem with Joe Buck.
Why?
Well, he has basically come right out and said, whoever your favorite team is, I'm rooting against them. So, if you walked up to Joe Buck and said, and you know that the broadcast is going to be on Fox, you go, hey, Joe Buck, my favorite team is the Astros. Whoever they're playing against, he's going to be rooting for the other team. Whether it be the Yankees, the Rangers, the Cardinals, whoever. He's kind of a jerk. He's kind of an asshole. I guess depending on who you really root for, in my opinion, because some people think he's more biased towards other teams. And
now I will say he seems like he's more neutral in this one.
That's you're the first one I heard that he's more neutrally biased.
Because he doesn't know who to root for.
Well, a lot of my friends I've seen on Facebook say, especially the Astros fans, all he talks about is Kershaw, Puig, and all he talks about is the Dodgers. That's all he talks about, but then you would probably go to a Dodgers fan and say, a Dodgers fan would probably tell you straight up that, all he's talking about is Verlander, Keuchel, Springer, Altuve, and I think it really depends on who you're rooting for. I mean, if you're rooting for the Astros, you like the Astros, you love the Astros, you're going to hear he does talk good about the Astros, and you're going to sit there and you're going to hear all this good stuff, and you're going to take it in. But when he starts talking about the Dodgers, favoring, that's when you're gonna think he is unbiased.
Myra just pressed a button, and now we're going back in time. We're back at the first inning. He scooted forward. Yeah, scooted forward.
No, I
We
think
can't
we're live.
scoot forward.
We're live anyway.
No, they just have. Okay, we're good. We're good.
We're good.
We're good.
But
By the time whoever wins the game, we'll know like 10 minutes later.
yeah, it's just Joe Buck is just, and everybody will agree with me. Joe Buck is annoying.
I will say I did notice.
This is hell.
I did notice the bias whenever it was in against the Yankees.
Yes,
I noticed.
more so.
I did notice that mostly on that one. Cause I'm like, man, I didn't know the guy was actually one of our fans.
Yeah, see, you're the only one that hears. You're the only one that I know heard him actually cheer. We're talking about the Astros.
Yeah.
A lot of the people I've read comments on there, my friends that are Astros fans, all they heard was about the Yankees, Aaron Judge.
Well, the reason for that being too is also because on Fox Sports, this is from like Fox Sports West. It's predominantly Texas people, and honestly, and that's the thing. Whenever you posted a comment about it, and like, I wish I could watch the game without hearing. Wasn't it Buckner, right?
Joe Buck.
Yeah, Joe Buck.
Montreal State.
Huh?
Montreal State.
They're charging a lot of money for parking.
Mm-hmm.
The highest
So
one.
that's why they're banking.
The highest one was $100.
That's the cheapest, you mean?
No, that's the highest. Just the park. I'm like, I'm not spending. I already spent a lot of money fixing my car. I ain't spending more.
Yeah, I've had a slice. I'll probably have more.
We're
shortly.
gonna get more in a minute. Like, and I told you before, like, you could actually go to iHeartRadio and get the radio station that plays from New York, play it off of that, and you can listen to it from there.
Yeah.
And then
Exactly.
mute the TV.
Exactly. That is true.
And then put up the volume. That way it'll drown out the sound on that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just Joe Buck is just totally. His voice is annoying. He's pompous. He's a jackass.
Okay. I didn't bring you here to get on a rant.
But I'm gonna finish the rant on Joe Buck.
Finish your rant, and then we'll continue your story.
I finished my rant. Okay, when baseball first started out, it was just the National League. I think there was maybe like 10 or 12 teams in the National League. I think when it started out, one of those being the Yankees, which back then were the Baltimore Orioles. Interesting enough,
they were the Baltimore Orioles?
They were the Baltimore Orioles when they originally started out.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
They were successful. They were a very successful team in the National League. But even though they're successful, the National League decided them. There's Cleveland, Boston Americans, and there's St. Louis Browns, I think it was.
Before the Cardinals.
They all got kicked out.
Okay.
4 teams got kicked out, despite the Orioles doing so well. So actually, it was the owner of the Baltimore Orioles that started the American League in 1900. In 1901, they started playing.
So are you telling me that the Orioles are older than the Yankees?
The Orioles were the Yankees,
but they're considered older than the actual franchise.
Not the current Baltimore Orioles. No.
That's a completely different Orioles.
It's a completely different Orioles.
So are you telling me they were the New York Orioles?
They spent one more year in Baltimore. Then at the start of the 1903 season, before the start of the 1903 season, they moved to New York, and they originally started to play as the New York Highlanders. And they played as the New York Highlanders for 10 years, or about 9 years, and then the start of the 1913 season, maybe in the 1912 season, they changed their name to the New York Yankees.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting.
So,
Mario, do you have any questions for Todd about baseball? He's like he knows a good chunk about the history of a lot of the teams. Because there were some questions that we had during the game.
When was the last time the Astros won the last World Series?
they have actually never won the World Series.
But weren't they in it?
They were in it in 05, but they got swept by the White Sox.
What happened in 1955? Because December 19.
That's when they were born.
That's when that's when they were.
That's when they started.
That's when they started out as the Houston Colt 45s.
Something, because she had mentioned something that she saw something about 1955. And I'm like, because we used to be known as the Colt 45s.
Yep.
Right? And then that was just the team in Houston before we were Astros. Correct?
Before they're Astros, but the Astros history is part. The Colt 45s are part of the Astros history because that's what the team originated from the Colt 45s, and then they changed their name to the Astros.
Okay.
The colors were different.
And the colors look slightly different, right?
Slightly different, I believe. I'm not sure the exact colors.
Orioles. Like it was like
they were the Oilers, or those were football.
It was football.
Oh.
Oilers is football we used to have for Houston. See, I knew that,
before
right?
They turned into Texas.
Before they turned into Titans.
Yeah.
They moved before Bud Moore moved them to Tennessee.
Yeah.
And began the Titans.
Yes. Because they were known as the Tennessee Oilers, right?
Yeah, for a while they were actually known as the Tennessee Oilers.
And then they switched to Titans.
Titans.
And then we didn't have a team for a while until 2002. 2002. I was in junior high whenever they were first out there. So when we first played against the Dallas Cowboys, and we won that one. That was the only game I remember that we won from the start. But the point I'm trying to get is that there's a lot of history in baseball that there's some that I know, there's some that I don't. And me hearing you tell me like the history of how the teams were originated or the rivalries that have happened, it's very interesting because we live in a time now where it's actually we can physically go to any game that we want to or listen to any game that we want to.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this: do you do fantasy baseball?
I did it a couple years, and I just mostly stick to fantasy football now.
Is fantasy baseball too stressful? Because they do a lot more games than what football does.
They do a whole heck of a lot more games during the regular season than football does. Mm-hmm. So, games wise, the games played wise, baseball is the longest sport games wise. Okay,
so how do you feel about after a good chunk of time? We're only up until like 2013, 2016. I forgot when it was. Where they recently started doing the Baseball World Cup.
The World Baseball Classic. World Baseball Classic. I think it's actually kind of a really good thing. Even though sometimes bad stuff happens, like this year, the Yankee shortstop Didi Gregorius got injured during the World Baseball Classic, and we were without him. I want to say for a good 2 months, maybe even 3 months of the season, because he had a lot of rehab to do and everything like that. But Ronald Torreyes actually kind of stepped up for us. He was our everyday shortstop until Didi Gregorius came back, which was great. But World Baseball Classic's really good. I like it how everybody gets together. All the teams around the world get together.
I'll come in a minute.
So,
I'll let him play in a minute. I just want Todd to finish what he has to say.
But it's really good. I think it's good for baseball. I mean, it happens every 3 years, I believe. Because I don't think they want to do I don't think they really want to do every 4 years like the Olympics does. But it's actually kind of good because it actually helps players get a little bit more ready for the season coming up.
Not only that, more exposure.
More exposure, exactly.
Coco, come here, Coco. Hang on, guys. Coco, come here. Come here. Give me your toy. I don't want you squeaking. I want you squeaky. Come here. Come here, Coco. Come here. Come here. Give me your toy. Give me your toy. Give me your toy.
He's getting a toy.
Give me your toy. Give me your toy.
I'm getting another slice
Give me
pizza.
your toy. I want the people to hear what I have to deal with. Coco, come here. Bring me your toy. Bring me your toy. Bring me your toy.
Oh, now you're playing.
Bring me your toy. Bring me your toy. Bring me your toy. Hold him.
Guys, we're taking a break for now.
Yeah.
Well,
I want people to hear.
What he did?
Hey, we scored!
We scored!
Coco, we missed the score!
Gosh!
Okay, 1-0. We scored.
Yep,
Okay.
Springer just hit a home run.
Okay,
And we missed it.
watch this. We scored. Okay, we had to do the replay. We didn't see what happened. 4 home runs. Okay,
Coco, you got us distracted, Coco.
we have tied for the most single home runs in the World Series now.
Yep. George Springer's actually got 4 leadoff home runs.
So how much faith,
An error!
how
Right?
much faith do you have on them winning?
Oh, he got him?
He's still got. He may have gotten by a step, but we may see a challenge here. I don't know.
Do you think they're
Okay, look, I think they're challenging.
Todd?
It's possible if they can keep getting to Hill. It's possible for the Astros to win this.
Did you watch the last game?
No, I didn't.
Oh, that's kind of close.
That was like the best game. That's been the best game ever.
And
He got him.
He did get him.
He got him by 8. He got him by just like
He did get him.
inches.
He actually did get him.
Todd did not see the last game. That was like a bad
On Sunday.
game.
I kept track of it on ESPN. I was kind of on the computer at the time.
It was like bad.
My mom is not only a Yankees fan, as I said earlier, she's also a Dodgers fan, and she didn't want to watch the game at all.
Okay, all right, guys. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna play with Coco for a little bit. That way he get out of his system, and we will continue with Todd's amazing baseball history stories. All right, so we will be right